Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Akal Hector.
Challenge accepted. I will use level 1 training protocol. Training protocol is completed. This combat sequence ends. Training protocol is completed. This combat sequence ends. Challenge accepted. I will use level 2 training protocol. Training protocol is completed. This combat sequence ends.
What is on your mind? I will ascend.
I serve the Kyrian. What do you seek?
I welcome you. As it must be.
We walk this path together.
I need to target something first.
Zug, Loktar! Go forth, claim victory!
I welcome you. Walk with courage.
I can't attack that.
It is an honor. What is on your mind?
We must all walk the path.
I need a target.
Initiating humility sequence.
It is an honor. Walk with courage.
Archon guide you.
Archon guide you.
I'm out of range.
What shall we learn from each other? It is an honor.
I don't have a target.
Have you read anything interesting lately?
Do you wish to spar? I offer you my aid.
The future of Bastion holds back nothing, mortal.
Initiating humility sequence. You have been weighed. You have been measured.
A necessary lesson
Wish
in
to
humility.
spar?
Allow me to show you the way.
You have need of my hands?
I will meet you there, aspirant. Be ready for a challenge.
I serve the Kyrian.
I serve not only Bastion, but I have readied some items in the next chamber. They will help you prepare. The drought holds strong. We must find a solution. In the chamber below, you will confront and subdue your deepest memories. Few aspirants advance to this trial so quickly. If you succeed, you will have proven yourself to the Ascended. You must delve deeper. Try again. There is still more you must pull from yourself. Open yourself to it. There. This is the moment you must overcome.
It's too far away.
Rest now. It is finished. How may I serve you? Our purpose is to serve. We had best not keep Calisthene waiting.
We will not fear the darkness.
Yes, mortal. I would have you speak. State your purpose. As a token of gratitude, she wishes to offer you a gift. Do you accept? I would have you speak. Go in service. Go in service, aspirants. Archon's eyes upon you all.
The Archon said nothing of Kyrian serving the Maw?
Perhaps she does not believe it. We have but the word of a single aspirant, though one would think that would be enough.
We must all walk the path.
I need to get close. Man, that's too far away. I need to target something first.
At which temple do you train?
Oh! I need to target something first.
Well met.
I need a target. I don't have a target. I need to get close.
I walk the path of duty.
It is an honor.
I need a target. I need to target something first.
How may I aid you?
We will help however we can. You are a sign of the winds of change.
Guard yourselves against your doubts. All is not well.
It could not have worsened since I was last there.
How may I serve you? Glad to be of service.
today. This is a remarkably exciting day for us. I'm going to start by telling you that we did a protracted investigation over the last 2 years. It ended up with the oral intercept, or a wiretap, as we know. It's important to understand that when you do a wiretap investigation, that immediately that investigation is going to leave your jurisdiction. It always does, because we're dealing with an international smuggling ring that operated out of Winter Haven, Florida. There was a lot of predicate cases that was put together before the wiretap was ever requested. And it takes an entire team of people across the United States. So first I want to introduce to you those that are standing up with me, and then we'll talk about the other agencies that were involved, and you can get a flavor for the complexity of the coordination of this investigation. First and foremost, none of this can happen without our State Attorney Brian Haas, who's with us today. Mr. Haas and his wonderful prosecutors, Nicole Orr and Jennifer Ordonez, are in charge of this investigation. They have worked hand in glove with us for over 2 years. Our state attorney is the real deal in Polk County vernacular. He puts bad guys in jail. He prosecutes people. He does what's right. And we're proud to have him prosecuting for us in the 10th Judicial Circuit. Osceola Sheriff Marcos Lopez, a good friend of mine and my colleague, we helped us immensely during this investigation, and he's standing up with us today. FDLE Special Agent in Charge Mark Brutnell from our Tampa office is here with us today. All of them will speak, as well as our police chief from Winter Haven, who worked closely with us because this organization was focused on and operated out of Winter Haven, David Brannon. But without Homeland Security investigations, we have Group Supervisor Darcy Corton and U.S. Border Patrol Agent in Charge Matthew Hackmanzik. We could not have been successful. We had to have contacts, and we had to have work that occurred from the importation of methamphetamine by the pound, by the multiple pound, from Mexico into Los Angeles and Fresno. And from LAX to Fresno, all of this drug flowed through, some through Memphis and some directly to us through the Orlando airport. So we also had the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, the Orlando Police Department, the Tampa International Airport Police Department, the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, the Fresno Police Department, and the Shelby County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee assist us. Now, all of these predicates in front of a press conference, usually people go, but I want you to understand, without them, this couldn't have come together. It was that massive an operation. So we began in September of 2020. We received information that the Jefferson family from Winter Haven was smuggling large amounts of drugs into Florida, from Mexico through California, and then to the streets of Central Florida. In February of 22, we ultimately initiated the wiretap. And why did we do this? We bought and made predicate cases for the wiretap throughout the 2 ensuing years, but we couldn't get to the top and link the organization together. This was a very different kind of operation. If you look at our org chart there, you notice that there's kind of 3 distinct groups of people. They were all interacting, but they had heads of each organization, and we'll go over and introduce you to some of them in a few minutes. But it wasn't the traditional organization. It was multifaceted. So we started the investigation, and here's what we determined. We determined that this large amount of drugs, by and large, was being smuggled to us from LAX in domestic flights, and I want to focus on domestic flights for just a few minutes. As a result of this investigation, we arrested 85 suspects. We added 355 new felony charges, 93 new misdemeanor charges to them. But listen, folks, I am sick and tired of this national media and these national groups telling us that drugs are low level and nonviolent. I think we'll demonstrate to you in just a few minutes that it's anything other than low level and nonviolent. That's right. The overwhelming majority of these people, not everyone, but the overwhelming majority of them, had a previous 690 felony charges that had been filed against them, as well as 194 previous convictions and 712 misdemeanors. So we're not dealing with people that are low-level, nonviolent people. Where did all of that silliness come from? And it's important to understand, and I want the people of this country to understand, that get to watch this on social media from my lips to their ears, that anybody that's trying to advance an agenda that drugs aren't dangerous, that drugs aren't deadly, they are lying to you. They are not telling you the truth. In this particular operation, we seized 268 pounds of methamphetamine, 6.8 ounces of fentanyl. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, just 6.8 ounces. But according to our DEA partners, 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be a deadly overdose. Okay, Grady, so what does all that mean? It means that 6.8 ounces of fentanyl could have killed up to 96,000 people. And we know in this investigation, and I'll repeat it again, that one of the Jefferson family, prior to the startup of this investigation, died from a drug overdose, but still their family poured this poison into our community, even though one of their loved ones died from some of the same drugs they were importing and selling on the streets. We seized a total of 49 firearms, all kinds of other assorted drugs and pills worth $12.8 million, and we seized $235,000 in cash. We know firsthand there were at least 2 drug overdoses during this investigation. And one of the drug overdoses, as I said, was one of the Kingpin's brothers that occurred just before we kicked the entire investigation off. It's important to understand why we were up on the wiretap, that we heard chatter within minutes of an unsolved homicide that's still being worked diligently by the Winter Haven Police Department at this time. So when you know that you have at least 2 overdose deaths, when you know that there is chatter on your wiretap as to a murder that just occurred in the city of Winter Haven, you're dealing with violent, dangerous people. So, I want to point out, when we talk about low-level nonviolent crimes, this is what people were having pointed in their face. I'm going to introduce you to a guy who was kicking the door in and doing home invasion robberies and telling people he was the police. But look at the high-powered firearms that we seized. Now, you see this firearm and you go, yeah, that's a pretty ominous-looking firearm. Well, our folks, our detectives from the various agencies who are simply the very best in these long-term investigations had to face these guns, had to risk their life to get this gun away from hardened criminals and put them in jail. So at the end of the day, it's important to understand that people risk their lives in law enforcement in order for an investigation of this to come to a successful conclusion. But I want to highlight one event before I get to our folks. Listen to me, folks. There's nothing more important to us than the screening that occurs on our aircraft. When I hear people grumble and complain about having to go through scanners and TSA checking and their bags checked, and I hear that grumbling, I think, are you all out of your minds? They're keeping you safe. They're protecting your life. And I'm excited and thankful when I go through a TSA screening that those folks are there doing that for me. But here's what we know. Over and over and over on these domestic airlines from LAX, through suitcases, drugs was smuggled here. That's right, look at this. On one occasion, on one airline, 6 suitcases with this drug was smuggled into Orlando. They didn't so much as throw a pair of underwear in the suitcase to act like they were hiding the drugs. You think LAX has got a drug smuggling problem at the airport? I believe that they do, and they need to address it ASAP. There were 6 of these suitcases on one flight. Think about that. Let me show you what this group looked like. All of this came in on one flight. One flight. So what happened at the other end of the line? There needs to be a deep dive into the baggage handlers and to see where the hookup was to allow suitcase after suitcase after suitcase to get through the scanning with no clothes inside, no evidence of clothes inside, just drugs. You think we've got a big operation going on here? I think we've uncovered a problem for LAX. "94 pounds of meth and 48 pounds of cannabis came in that day on that one aircraft. And here are the masterminds. Here are the ringleaders from left to right. Abdosh McKenzie, DeMarcus Jefferson, Dwayne Stackhouse Sr., Leonard Henderson, Javaris Samuel, and DeMarte Munson. You'll hear more about them in a few minutes. But I want you to see the men who masterminded, who were the ringleaders, who put together this very complicated this very complicated criminal enterprise ring that we investigated, and see how dangerous these men are. And DeMarcus Jefferson lost his brother to the same drugs, the same poison he was peddling in our community. So let's look at some of the individual players. Here's Abdosh McKenzie. We'll go over real quick. He was selling fentanyl pills. He would tell us that in the undercover operations, I operate in mysterious ways so the cops can't catch me. Newsflash, it wasn't so mysterious. He got his first job in 9 years recently at KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Do you know why? He was proud of that $200 he made that week. Now he's a major drug smuggler. Why did he do that? Well, he was jammed up in a custody dispute, and he had to show the judge that he had a legitimate job. Otherwise, where did the money come from? But he is a businessman, because then he would pay his co-workers with dope to prep his workstation at work. But he's an ethical KFC guy, because my guys ask him, can we have the recipe for the Kentucky Fried Chicken? He wouldn't give it up. if he had it. But this guy was scamming the system the whole way. Then there's DeMarcus Jefferson. He's another local kingpin of the operation. His brother is the one at only 25 years of age died of a drug overdose. Ladies and gentlemen, let me underscore once again, I can't understand how in the world DeMarcus could peddle poison to people when his family suffered such a loss as their 25-year-old kid brother. But there are people dying every day across this country because of drug overdoses and drug abuse. And yet we continue to try to downplay it as nonviolent, low-level drugs. You'll hear me say that a lot. The next person that tells you that, ask them if they're out of their mind or if they're on drugs, because it's dangerous. Now, along the way, just before the investigation, here's DeMarcus Jefferson's vehicle as he was intoxicated and drove through the front of a store. Some of the local news stations covered this. But what did he have with him when he drove into the front of this store while impaired? He had drugs because he made phone calls, and we have videos from the store of people running up with masks on, going into the trunk, and taking items out of the trunk before law enforcement arrived. DeMarcus is also involved in violent crashes. Then there's Antonio Jefferson, another one of the family members. In April 2021, we and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement charged him with armed trafficking in methamphetamine. While, let me say this clearly, I don't want you to miss it. While out on bond, he was trafficking more methamphetamine. Did you hear what I told you? Let me say that again so you want to hear it clearly. I don't want to stutter. In April, we arrested him with FDLE on armed trafficking of meth. He bonded out and was trafficking in meth. And then we heard him on the Intercept saying, my attorney wants me to help. He wants me to cooperate. He wants me to give substantial assistance. He bragged, how can I do that? I'm the head of my organization. How can I help? Well, we're going to help Antonio Jefferson. We're going to help him to the state prison for a very long time. I hope his attorney got paid in advance. Then there's Nathaniel Carr. He was federally indicted for robbery, from home invasions robberies, where he portrayed himself as a law enforcement officer, where he was kicking in doors throughout Central Florida. He's in custody. But we also have him for conspiracy to traffic in methamphetamine that occurred before he was arrested for his robbery arrest. He resided in Lakeland. He currently resides in federal lockup. Then there's Vicente Basanta. He's here from Venezuela with political asylum. Did you hear that? He is here with political asylum. Apparently his ex-wife, who's not with him anymore and is not here, was a news reporter for the opposing party in Venezuela. So when the new party came in, she was scared, and guess what? He fled to the United States. Does he appreciate the United States? Oh no, he doesn't appreciate the United States. He comes here to traffic in drugs. And what you have here is a Bible case, you see? People recognize these as Bible cases. But what did Vicente do? He carried his drugs in these Bible cases. Now, how much more low down can you get? So we give political asylum to a guy from Venezuela to come to this country, to traffic in drugs, and hide it in Bible cases. What the heck? I'm certain there must be some other words for him beside what I've said, but they probably wouldn't be appropriate. Oh, he was trafficking in cocaine. He's still here legally on asylum. I say we send him back. This is Clay Bryan. Now this is interesting. To tell you how this international operation goes, Clay pulls up at the racetrack gas station in Eagle Lake, and he leaves the car running. Did you hear what I said? He left the car running while he ran into the store. Was he only going to be gone a short time? Voila! 3 juveniles from the area steal his car. And all of a sudden, they're wrapped up in an international drug smuggling operation when they steal the guard of the stash house's vehicle, which had a pound of meth in it. But being the enterprising young men that they were, not knowing they were in with some really bad dudes, they found the meth. But did they decide, let's abandon our stolen car and our meth? No. Then they talked about, hey, I'm going to sell this meth and make some real money. That's right. So these little dudes not only ripped off a major international drug smuggling operation, then they were going to sell the dope to make a profit. Well, they all got arrested. But it's funny how there's twists and turns, because they did us a favor by stealing that car that day. All of that led us back to Clay Bryan, and we seized an additional 24 pounds of meth. And it all started because they stole the car that Clay was operating. Thank you, you little criminals. Raspers. Then there's Demonte Munson. He's known as D-Money. He's a local rapper. He was a mastermind. He was one that really put together the trips from the LAX to Florida. But here's the neat thing about DeMonte. He would go through the community. He would provide fireworks on the holidays. He would have Christmas gift giveaways. He would provide Easter egg hunts. You see, he was the good guy.
This is pretty crazy, this shit. Oh my God, it's right in my backyard.
Shared it with the kids. You know, he was grooming himself as a community charitable contributor for the underprivileged. The whole time he's doing it with smuggled and trafficked drug money. He had an associate, Samuel Javaris. Samuel Javaris got a legitimate Georgia driver's license with a false name on it, and he booked the flights. He utilized the false names. It worked. He had a robbery warrant and a VOP for battery on a law enforcement that was 10 years old. We couldn't find him. He had taken on a new identity successfully. And he had a friend with him, Aldrea McPherson. You see, he's big time. He had a home in Fresno and a home in Davenport, and he moved the drugs. And when we went to stop them so that we could serve the search warrant, Aldrea called children who she had access to and told them, hide the dope. Little kids, hide the dope. Are you kidding me? So what did they do with their money? They bought gold, lots of gold. This won't even fit over my head like the last one, so I'll just hold it up. $36,000 worth of gold. So they're providing things for kids in the neighborhood. They're buying gold. They're telling their family and friends about how successful they are. And the whole time they're peddling poison to your kids. I want to turn the podium over to Brian Haas, our state attorney, who is simply, as I've said before, the very best. There's not enough positive words to say because our state attorney's office is game on about how do we protect the people in the community? How do we keep people safe? And when we suggest these long, very difficult, complicated cases that some prosecutors across the state and nation want to run from because of their complexity, our state attorney and his team run to those cases in order to protect the community. Mr. Haas.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'm very thankful to have been able to be a part of this investigation from the very beginning and understand all the complexities and all the work that went into this. I think that these cases show how our communities are all tied, not just here within our county, but across our state and across our nation and across our world, which is why it's important that we all do our jobs to make sure that the criminals are being dealt with appropriately. Being easy on the criminals, wanting to be their friends, that's not the answer when you're dealing with folks like this. You've got to be aggressive and you've got to take control of the situation, which this is a step in that direction. I think one of the things that really left an impact on me was the amount of work that went into this case. And I know some of the folks that were involved are here today, prosecutors from my office, but across agencies, detectives, and folks that spent hours and hours and hours putting the time in, probably missing events with their family and things like that, making those sacrifices to put this case together. And I think that a lot of that goes a little bit unthanked for all the work that they did, but we certainly appreciate it, all the work that you've done. The case it's an important day here today, but there's a lot of work still to do, a lot of prosecutions. You see this board, that's a lot of cases. We have a lot of cases and we just got some more, but we're up for the task and we're committed to making sure that we see this through all the way to the end. It will take a long time. The last thing I'll say is a word of thanks to Sheriff Judd. If you look at all of the people up here today and all of the folks that were assembled to make this happen, it's not just local folks, it's other state agencies, federal agencies. It's because of Sheriff Grady Judd and his leadership that this happened. It all starts at the top, and we are so fortunate to have our sheriff as the leader of making sure that this all happened. So thank you, Sheriff, for all your work.
Thank you, Mr. Haas. The Osceola Sheriff, Sheriff Marcos Lopez, is a dear friend of mine, and our counties not only abut up to each other, but we have a major metropolitan center where the county line runs kind of through the middle of town. So we have part of the town, and Sheriff Lopez has the majority of the town, but we work closely every day on all kinds of investigations. And Sheriff Lopez is the epitome of professionalism and cooperation. Sheriff, thank you for the opportunity to work with you. You have some comments?
Yes, sir. Just want to thank everyone for having us here, Sheriff. You know, all the people that work together to take care and make sure that we could put good cases together for prosecution with a state attorney is really important, because this poison is really killing people. And, you know, criminals don't know borders or boundaries, and like the sheriff says, they go back and forth from Osceola to Polk, and, you know, we really got to maintain a firm hand and make sure that our state prosecutors are putting them in prison for a long time. You know, they don't care. Don't wait till some of this stuff hits your neighborhood and when your kids die, you know, you guys got to be supportive and make sure when you go to those polls and elect those elected officials that are going to be tough on crime, be very selective and do your research, because believe it or not, it affects you. Your property values will drop, and you'll start getting this type of trash in your area, and you're going to regret it. But I thank Sheriff for this opportunity and thank everyone for being here, all the men and women that do this every day and risk their lives to expose themselves to these dangers. There's a lot of work to be done. Like they said, this case will still go on for a little bit, but all these people, hopefully they'll stay in jail for a long time. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sheriff. And we have Mark Brutnell, who is the special agent in charge out of Tampa with us from FDLE. Mark's teams and our team work together every day in short-term and protracted investigations, and this is only one more example. But FDLE is always there, and we love their energy and their enthusiasm, and we really love that statewide jurisdiction. Come on up.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning, everybody. I first and foremost like to thank the investigative team and the prosecution team that are here. You guys did amazing work. Without that hard work, we would not be here today to make us all look good. You guys are the true champions behind the scenes. Clearly, this drug trafficking organization does not know jurisdictional boundaries, and the amount of poison they've peddled and the firearms and the violent crimes that come with it is very, very scary, but it's a daunting task that obviously we're all up to handle. Again, they don't know jurisdictional boundaries, but I got good news for the public, either do we. As you see here, federal, state, local, all working hand in hand with big results. Again, I want to thank the men and women that put this case together. It was an excellent job well done. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, sir. And we have Police Chief David Brannon, who's going to make some comments. Chief Brannon and his team and my team work together every day, everything from minor disturbances to the most major international smuggling rings. And I can always depend on the Winter Haven Police Department and Sheriff Brannon, maybe, I hope you don't run against me next time. Chief Brannon, I worked for a Sheriff Brannon one time. Chief David Brannon is there with every operation we do. Everyone, all the time. And he is very special to us. Chief, come on up.
First, I'll thank you for the promotion today. So, we, as always, as he said, we're always working with the Sheriff's Office. We're also working with other agencies because we can't do this job. Like they said, the drug dealers, they don't know where it stops and where it stops. And as you can see, they're going all over the country and international. It's very important, one, to work with each other so we're successful for our community, because it's not just Winter Haven, it's Polk County. Also, even just for the safety of our own detectives and making sure that we're working together and not stepping on each other's toes. As I look at this board today, there's several names that I see and recognize more than I would care to admit over the years, whether it's them or their family members that I dealt with back when I was a patrol officer or narcotics sergeant. Worked cases with the Sheriff's Office on them, doing different buys. And just to go back...
Crazy how much drugs they just took off the street. It is crazy. That's good. They need to make these guys go to prison for life, man. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine if they execute them. Like, just hang them. You know, do what you got to do. They need to be put down. They're bad people. They're peddling poison. They're killing people. Nah, they need to just put them on death row, execute them in a year or two, be done with it.
So I do appreciate the sheriff having us here today.
Do what Rodrigo Duterte would do, man. Just don't even bring them in. You got enough evidence, just kill them. Because they're killing people with their poison.
Speak publicly, but don't let their lack of public comments.
I honestly don't want to pay my tax money going for these guys to be in prison. I just want them to go ahead and execute them. Hey, this is from Final Fantasy. It's a game. Wow, look at that. There's a cosplay over right there. See that? Loco Katong!
Perhaps my vision dream speaks true. You are the one my mistress seeks.
Your picks, friends. It is time to leave this place. Quickly, follow me.
Himjas? How did you... Never mind. Zatsu, the Spinebreaker. She's taken the others deeper into the ruins.
Keep moving. I will guide this lot to the exit. Then we can send Zatsu to the root place. This city will be your grave! I guided the first group back to the swamp. You are free, friends. Flee this way.
Angels!
More of our Shellkin are through that gate. Please save him. Dreed, Jacine, we are here to rescue you.
It is Mima and Bonti. Are you all right? That was a savage beating.
All according to plan. Now, the 4 of you should swim to safer waters. My companions and I will find the rest of the tribe.
Chudan has broken her bonds. Good job, I guess. Mock dwellers, what have you done?
It is Nakesh. We have killed your pet. Release the rest of the Susabil tribe. Or suffer the same fate.
No, no, I think not. Salvor even as we
Save have searched high and low, but I cannot find any sign of Zalnur or the Elders. It is also very, very quiet. That either means the Zitzat have fled, or they have gathered in great numbers to kill us all. I hope it is the second. I am filled with sap and fury.
Now, kill them!
Another glorious victory. I just need a moment to gather my wits. And throw up. Keep looking for Zalnur. I will be right behind you.
Invaders! Spare your fangs, Zitzat! We will bury you!
Stand back, or I will...
Rats, I eat you now! strong! Crush your heads! Trample, stupid rats! Down, you're strong! Slave scum! Trample, stupid rats! Down here and make you spit blood! Down here and make you flat! Die! 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 Trample, stupid rats! Down here will crush
short spines. I know it did not look like it, but feigning panic is an excellent way to set an opponent off guard. Anyway, thank you. Keep moving. We are near to finding the tree minder and the... Yes, it is me. I just need to... Chaos. I will tend to this one. Save the others.
Just into monsters. Please, you must set us free.
this rich pay. You attack from the right. I will blade again. I erect the spine of deep disappointment. So, this is the mad hist. By the egg. Do you see how it weeps and twists its roots? Loosen your roots and unfetter your leaves. Sleep dreamless and long. Sleep and be at peace.
Buying or that coin?
fallen star is close, but there is death here too. Greetings. I am a crusader of the Zakarum faith, and I saw a star falling on this town.
It fell on the old cathedral. There was only one survivor, Leah. You should speak with her.
Captain Rumford, more dead are coming.
We can't open the gates until we drive them back.
They keep coming.
Seen anyone fight like that before. Guards, open the gates. You'll find Leah at the Slaughtered Calf Inn.
Burn those corpses before they rise again. Zakarum has fallen to disgrace. What fate
Don't you dare lift a finger to help our mayor fix his wagon. My brother died defending this town, while that bloated coward... The dead, rising from their graves.
Please move your cart.
For many years, villagers were too afraid to settle near the ruins of the cursed town Tristram. But as time went by, adventurers arrived to loot the old cathedral, and their business was profitable enough that New Tristram sprang up to accommodate them. Fewer travelers visit now, though, and the town is mostly populated.
Are you Leah? They tell me you survived the falling star.
I did, but it blasted my uncle Deckard Cain into the depths of the old cathedral. I tried to search for him, but the dead were already rising. I came back here to rally the militia, but...
Watch out! The wounded are turning!
This is killing business.
The dead will overwhelm us all, unless something is done.
Something like putting the dead back to sleep? I can do that.
Thank you. You should speak with Captain Rumford at the gate. He can tell you what to do. We've been under siege for 6 days now. Uncle Deckard is still missing. Captain Rumford and the others are losing hope. I tell them not to lose faith, but if help doesn't arrive soon...
16 militiamen went out, only Rumford came back. How can that help us?
I've come to help. How do we stop these risen dead?
I admire your courage, but Captain Dalton and the militia were slaughtered by those things. Only I survived.
Have faith, Captain. Have faith.
Well, I have seen you fight. Strike at the wretched mothers and their queen. They're the ones vomiting out these horrors.
They're attacking the barricades!
I require more wrath.
That's one of the wretched mothers. There are more of them in the ruins down the road.
I, Deckard Cain, have spent many years traveling and writing about the strange creatures in our world, but the sight of the wretched mothers still haunts me. They are the remnants of Queen Asilla's slaughtered handmaidens who were twisted by foul magic. Now they feast upon cadavers and regurgitate them as newly formed, risen dead.
Faith is low. Not enough wrath.
Dear reader, I am Abd al-Hazir, adventurer, scholar, and researcher. I share my knowledge of this incredible world and its creatures through my insightful missives, often at grave risk to myself. Why, I was recently in Kanduras, where my tents were ransacked by vicious quill thieves. I was able to beat them off with a shoe, but a less bold man would have fared far worse.
Another wretched mother dead. That should slow the attacks.
While exploring a cave with hopes of finding hidden treasure, I came upon a most grisly sight. A heap of dead bodies. Unbelievably, as I was searching them for any items of value, they began to rise. I must tell them of this in New Tristram before it's too late.
Old Tristram. Diablo himself was here.
Can no longer deny the true nature of the evil that rises from the depths of the cathedral. It is almost too horrible to admit the truth of it. It is the Dark Lord of Terror, Diablo himself, who plagues us.
Thank you for your help. But could you talk some sense into Leah? She won't give up on the idea of rescuing her uncle.
She's brave.
For a long time, Uncle Deckard avoided coming back to this place. This is where I don't...
Leah, let's find your uncle.
We'll need to open... Doesn't feel right being in Uncle Deckard's room when he's not here.
And it is written, a fire will carve a furrow in the sky.
I came here to study the fall of Old Tristram. This is closer to the town's history than I want to be.
Here, let me open the gate. Adria was my mother, but I don't know much about her. She died when I was very young. I was raised by Uncle Dick.
Your father?
I'm told he was a great warrior who was lost when Tristram killed the demon. Look, a hidden cellar.
There are dark secrets here.
People said she was a witch, but I never believed it.
Captain Dalton!
Here's the key, and my mother's journal.
I will go.
Thank you.
Aiden came to me last night. I suspected what...
I've never heard of the Crusaders.
We saw.
Well,
I'm not here that evil.
For a long time. This is vital.
Leah, tell me.
Uncle Deck.
One sexy hot Filipina. She just called me loco. Sexy Filipina.
The fight is over for this one.
Faith is rewarded.
Tristram Cathedral. The fallen star lies within. The star is close.
That creature must die.
Foul minions, stay back! Back! May this ledge hold. Skeleton King?
The power of the fallen star awakened me, and soon all will suffer as I have suffered. Gods, bring me his bones!
Thank you, but why did you...
Your niece asked me to find you, and
Oh, it is wonderful to hear that Leah is well. I feared the worst. I learned of this. We must discuss the fallen star. Follow me to Tristram.
Uncle, you're alive!
it was
Akarat favors me.
The skeleton key locked. Leah, you should not dismiss the signs so lightly. Do you not believe the evidence of your own eyes?
Horrors have visited Tristram before, and it endured.
But what of the texts? The Zakarum tomes warn of a falling star. The Herodic scroll spoke of the dead rising, and the Lord of Light. The prophecy of the end days says that at the end of all things, the first sign shall appear in the heavens.
Did you learn anything about your mother?
I've spent most...
Leah.
The story?
The
I can...
Leah spent all night alongside the blacksmith's wife, tending the wounded.
Sheldo. The word.
Are you Hadrig? Deckard?
Thank you. Follow me. Friends, I'm sorry.
Do your duty, blacksmith, no matter how hard.
My love, forgive me.
Hadrig! Help me!
couldn't have done this when you found his tomb in a cemetery in the Weeping Hollow. And if you see my fool apprentice out there, tell him to get back to town.
I gotta go to bed. It's getting late. See y'all later.